FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
I didn't really talk about it, but you know, another aspect of it is that one thing that came to light through the initial reporting that we did is that appointees at the highest levels of scientific advisory panels in a number of different agencies, but a good example is the NIH, the National Institutes of Health. They have so-called council-level advisors. And these are people at different branches of NIH that essentially help advise where money should be given, what high-level sort of planning about their particular subfields that are under the purview of the National Institutes of Health. And what we discovered is that this administration, in a pretty much unprecedented strategy, had been giving some of the most eminent scientists who were being nominated for these positions political litmus tests. They would be called up and they'd be asked who they voted for and what their political views were on a whole host of issues. And not surprisingly, many of these people were outraged by that. And so that was one of the early things that came to light. Was it appropriate for the administration to be doing that? And so, there's a chapter on this about essentially political stacking of committees going up to this high level. And so, as part of this, I talked to many of these people and would hear the same story. And you're talking about people who have the most eminent backgrounds, the very people that really should be in these positions often, were forced to into this position, this uncomfortable position of having to deal with this question of who they voted for, or whatever. And to their credit, many of them would say that they didn't think that this was an appropriate question to be asking. This wasn't a political position, after all, that they were being appointed to or being recommended for. This was a kind of a purely scientific position within the government. And what we found is that those people that complained about it, by and large, were not impaneled. And so there's stories that, working backwards, you can kind of uncover the whole things. In a few cases, people tried to come up with some sort of innocuous answer to the question and didn't make a fuss about it because they wanted to have the position. But in almost all of the cases of these scientists that I talked to, there was unanimity in the thinking that this was just unprecedented and beyond the pale to do. And since that came to light, there have been several governmental panels looking at this. One very important one at the National Research Council, which is a eminent group within the National Academy of Sciences, that put out a report that spelled this out, particularly saying that you were not allowed to ask these kinds of political questions for these kinds of positions. It had never been spelled out before because it had never really been an issue before. But this kind of politicization is really something new with this administration. So anyway, long